What if the next great AI company does not build a chatbot at all? What if it builds factories, machines, and physical products? That is where today's biggest AI story begins. Jeff Bezos has reportedly returned to an operating role as co-CEO of Project Prometheus, a new company focused on what is being called physical AI. Physical AI means artificial intelligence that does more than write text, make pictures, or answer questions. It helps design, test, and manufacture things that exist in the real world. Think engines, robots, machines, spacecraft, electronics, and industrial equipment. Project Prometheus has reportedly emerged from stealth with a valuation of around $41 billion. Stealth simply means the company was being built quietly before announcing what it was doing. Its goal is ambitious. Use AI to speed up the entire process of creating physical products. Today, engineers may spend months designing something, running computer simulations, building a prototype, discovering that something is wrong, changing the design, and trying again. Physical AI could shorten that loop by a lot. An AI system might study thousands of possible designs, predict which ones are most likely to work, suggest better materials, and help control the machines that manufacture the final product. In other words, AI may stop merely writing the instruction manual and start helping build the machine. That matters because most of the AI boom so far has happened inside screens. We have AI writing emails, generating images, making videos, and helping with code. Useful, certainly, but the physical world is harder. A chatbot can confidently invent a fact and survive the day. A machine cannot confidently invent where the brake should go. Once AI moves into engineering and manufacturing, mistakes become more expensive. The systems need to understand physics, materials, measurements, and how objects behave outside a computer. Gravity sadly does not accept software updates. Project Prometheus is therefore betting that the next major AI race will be about connecting intelligence to real-world production. And that links directly to another story today. The AI race is increasingly becoming a race for infrastructure. Anthropic is reportedly looking to lease and control more of its own data center capacity. A data center is a giant building packed with computers. Those computers train AI models and run them whenever users ask questions. Until now, many AI companies have depended heavily on large cloud providers to supply the computing power. But as AI becomes more important, companies want greater control over the machines, electricity, and buildings underneath it. Owning or directly leasing data center capacity can provide more predictable access. It may also reduce the risk of arriving at the digital supermarket and discovering that someone else bought all the GPUs. But computers are only half the problem. They also need enormous amounts of electricity. And that brings us to China. China has reportedly increased its nuclear power capacity sharply since 2016 and now represents nearly half of the nuclear reactors currently being built worldwide. One update said China had 60 operating reactors and 36 more under construction. These figures are not only an energy story anymore, they're also becoming an AI story. AI data centers need steady power all day and all night. Wind and solar can help, but the output changes with the weather. Nuclear plants can provide large amounts of continuous electricity. That makes energy supply a serious competitive advantage. The countries that build the most AI may not simply be the ones with the best programmers. They may be the ones with enough chips, cooling systems, data centers, and electricity to keep everything running. The world's smartest AI is not very impressive when somebody trips over the extension cord. Meanwhile, another company is facing a much more human argument about where AI should be used. Rene Merofer, Google's director of Android platform security, is reportedly resigning over Google's agreement to provide AI technology for the Pentagon. He described himself as a pacifist and said he did not want to work personally for militaries involved in offensive warfare. His departure reportedly follows Google changing an earlier position that restricted the use of AI for weapons and surveillance. More than 580 employees, including some researchers, are also said to have signed a petition asking Google to refuse classified military work. This is not simply a story about one employee leaving one company. It shows that AI workers are increasingly being asked a difficult question. Is building the technology separate from deciding how it gets used? For years, many technology companies describe their products as neutral tools, but advanced AI can analyze intelligence, support surveillance, guide decisions, and assist military planning. That makes the line between we build the tool and we participated in the outcome much harder to ignore. Companies may sign the contracts, but individual engineers still have to decide whether they are comfortable working on them. And that tension will grow as AI moves from harmless office tasks into defense, policing, healthcare, and other areas where decisions can affect real lives. Now let's move from the cost of AI in society to the actual cost of running it. A new analysis reportedly tested the maximum weekly usage allowed across several OpenAI and Anthropic subscription plans. It then estimated how much computing power those heavy users consumed. The results were crazy. The analysis suggested that a person paying $200 per month for Claude Max could, in an extreme case, use as much as $8,000 in monthly computing resources. A ChatGPT Pro user could reportedly consume as much as $14,000 worth. These numbers are estimates based on unusually heavy use, not what every customer costs. But they reveal something important. AI companies may be heavily subsidizing their most active users. Imagine joining an unlimited buffet for $200 and somehow eating $14,000 worth of GPUs. The reason companies might accept these losses is competition. They want users, developers, and businesses to build habits around their tools. Once companies depend on one AI platform for coding, research, or customer service, switching becomes difficult. So today's low subscription price may be less likely the final business model and more like the free sample table at a supermarket. Except the sample requires a power station. This also explains why AI pricing keeps changing. Labs are trying to attract users while spending enormous amounts on chips, electricity, research, and data centers. And there is another new codex development. OpenAI reportedly plans to acquire Ona, a cloud infrastructure startup whose team will join Codex. Codex is OpenAI's coding system. Bringing in an infrastructure team suggests that the coding race is not only about making the model better at writing software, it is also about improving the systems that let coding agents work across large projects reliably. As coding agents take on longer jobs, they need environments where they can run code, test changes, fix errors, and keep working without collapsing because one software package had a bad afternoon. Finally, Microsoft is looking at a strange but necessary problem. How do you test the AI that tests the AI? Companies increasingly use AI graders to judge whether another AI answer is correct, useful, or safe. But that creates a new problem. What happens when the grader is wrong? Microsoft has been testing the evaluation systems used by Copilot Studio team. The goal is to check whether automated AI graders are consistent and whether humans can trust their scores. It sounds a little ridiculous, like hiring a robot teacher and then hiring another teacher to check the robot teacher, but it actually matters. As companies generate thousands of millions of AI responses, humans cannot review every one. Automated graders are becoming necessary, but if the grader has hidden biases or misses obvious errors, companies may believe their AI is performing well when it is actually not. Today's stories took AI from factories and nuclear plants to military contracts, subscription losses, and robot grading robots. AI is no longer only a software product, it is becoming an engineering, energy, ethics, and economic story, all at the same time. We hope you enjoyed this episode. See you in the next one.